Okay, so today we'll be doing the portfolio. We'll be developing a portfolio project, and this will be the requirements. Considering that you're starting from the scratch, okay. So before you do any of this, just create a folder. Okay, create a folder that will hold all the files of the portfolio for the portfolio. Okay. Okay. So create a folder. You can just go to any. You can just go to your desktop and then just create a new file, new folder. Okay. And name it portfolio, or you can give it any name. Let's give it a portfolio building. Okay, after you give it the name portfolio building, just open that folder, and then now you can open your Visual Studio Code after you have okay, let's say you created a folder, and then just next step will be to download the Visual Studio Code. Okay, so to download it, just go to your any browser, and then you can search for Visual Studio Code. You just go to the first link as well, and then you can just click here and then just download the stable version. Okay, so after you have downloaded and installed the Visual Studio Code, just go to just open the Visual Studio Code. So let's say I open the code. Okay, and then from here you can do like file, let's go to like open folder, and just open the folder that you created. So in our case, we will be using this portfolio building. Just select this folder. Okay, so once you have selected the folder, just go to these icons. It's called extensions. Okay, so you need to do these two things first. Okay, so just go to the Visual Studio Code, and then go to extension, and then type here. The first thing you need to install is something called live server. Okay, live server. Okay, since I've already installed, it's showing disable and uninstall. In your case, it will be showing install. Okay, so just click on install, and then once you're done installing, just the second thing that you need to install is something called an extension called Prettier. Okay, just go back to the Visual Studio Code and then search for Prettier. Okay, so what does Prettier help you do is that it will help you beautify your code. Okay, so that your code won't look messy. So once you're done with that, once you're done installing, okay, you can just go back, and then now you can also close this. Okay, so that's what for the first part, and then just you can use any browser. I recommend Chrome browser is recommended. Okay, and then for the development, just make sure that your this zoom level, this magnifying level, is set to 100. Okay, don't use like 300, 400. Okay, just set to this 100. Okay, the default one. Okay, once you're done with that, now you can go to your code. Okay, so this is where we'll start begin the portfolio building process. So the first step will be just create the three files. Okay, so just click here, new file. Okay, and then okay, so assuming you have installed these two extensions, that is live server and Prettier, you can see this option called go live, right? So this option before you install a live server, you won't see this option, but after you install live server, you'll see this option. Okay, so let's create a new file. Just click here, new file. Okay, and give it the name index, or you can give it any name. Just make sure that the extension is .html. Okay, and then here you can just give it a boilerplate that is just type HTML. Okay, and then just select the second one, that is HTML5. After that, you can give the title portfolio building, or you can simply say my portfolio. Okay, you simply say my portfolio. Once you're done with that, second thing let's do is create a CSS file. Okay, just name it like style.css. Okay, and then write the boilerplate. I have taught you in class, for CSS, just write CSS doesn't have a template or like the boilerplate saved. Okay, so you have to write it by your own. So in this, you'll set the values following values. Okay, so just type margin 0. Second, give the padding to 0. Okay. Third, give box sizing. Also, give it border box. Okay. Once you're done with that, next thing you have to do is target the HTML tag and the body tag, and give them a width of 100%. 100%. Okay, and then also give them a height of 100%. Okay. 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 So in our case, we'll be building a portfolio which I've already created. Let me just show you. Okay. So we'll try to build this portfolio. Okay. We'll take this as a reference and then we'll try to hard code it out. Okay. Don't worry, I'll code it from scratch. Okay. So it has 5 different portions, as you can see. This one will be the one whole portion. Okay. And also you have this as the second portion, the about me section. Another section is your education section where you can write your educations and all. Third, you have your profiles, that is your the X, LinkedIn, GitHub, Notion, Stack Overflow, and then also your YouTube. Okay. And then the last final section will be context. Okay, so you can just give like just a form. Okay, where you can where the user or the interactor can enter the details and then they can submit. Okay. And also you can just address your contact, your social medias, and the copywriting. Okay. And also we'll try to build this back to top option. Okay, so let's begin. Before that, let me just start my Epic Pen so that it will be easier when I try to explain things. Okay. So you can go back to your this thing. Okay. What I like to do is before that let me just create another file for the JavaScript. Okay. Just write script.js. Okay. And then okay. After that, just come to HTML. Okay. And then click on Go Live. It'll take to your the browser. Okay, so the benefit of using this live server is that let's say I make some changes here. Okay, let's say okay, I write something and then I did not even save. Okay, or you can one more thing you can do is just go to file and then turn on autosave. Okay, so let's say I save this file, right? I edited the file and I save something. Okay, and I go to the browser and then I don't need to refresh. Okay, so let's say testing done. Okay, as you can see, I did not refresh it. It got refreshed by itself, and then the page is updated, right? So that's one benefit of using live server. Okay, so next step is just connect your CSS with your HTML. Okay, so to do that, just below this title section, just type link. Okay, you can select this CSS. Okay, here this is the relation as in like what kind of relation does this thing have with your document. Okay, HTML document. So it's a style sheet, right? Like its main purpose is for styling, to make the page look attractive. So once you're done with that, the second thing is let's link the script with this document. Okay, so to do that, it's always recommended to add the script just above the closing body tag. Okay, so here you can write script. Okay, and then you can give the source as script.js since this is a file name. Okay, so in order to see whether our script is working or not, let's just write a simple function. Okay, let's give it a function. Okay, and then give it a name testing. Okay, and then let's do some console.log. Just to see whether our thing's working or not. Okay, so console.log, and then let's say it's okay. Let's say whether it's working or not, and then let's just okay. So if I go back and then if I open the console, to open the console, on your keyboard, just press F12. Okay? F12. Okay. Okay. As you can see now, nothing is working. Okay, because I did not call the function. Okay, I did make a function, but I did not call the function. So let me just call the function. Okay, so the function name is testing. Now let's see whether it's working. Okay, now it says it's working. Okay. Okay, now let's check whether our CSS is working or not. So there is h1 tag. Let's apply some property to h1. Okay, let's give the let's see the color red. Okay, let's just try that. Okay, so as you can see, it's getting affected. The property is getting affected, so it's working. Okay, so everything is working. Everything is set. All the files are connected to each other and they're working fine. Okay, so now we'll take this thing as a reference. Okay, we'll take this thing as a reference and then we'll try to build it. Okay, from scratch. Okay, so the first thing what we can see here is the first thing is we can see a nav bar, right? So let's just first try to make this. Okay, let's just assume this thing as a one whole box. Okay, if this is one whole box, which means let's say this is one whole, like one big div. Okay, so under the div you have two sections. That is, one section is this nav bar and the other section is like this photo thing. Okay, so so basically there is one parent, that is like one div. Okay, one div parent which has two child, that is this is number one child, the nav bar, and then this content or this picture is the second child. Okay, so let's try to make the parent div first. Okay, so for that let's go to the code, the HTML part. Okay, and then let's give it like a main div. Okay, this is a shortcut of writing like div with the ID. Okay, so let's see whether our main div is working or not. Okay, we'll just type main, like select main. Okay, and then give it a width of 100% and also give it a height of 100%. Okay, and then just to see. Okay, right now you can't see anything because it does have a height and width, but it doesn't have any content. So let's just try giving it a background color. Let's give it red for now. Okay, so it's getting affected. That means the code is working. So you can just remove this, or you can just keep it for now. Just give it some different color. Let's give it something like light. Okay, so after that, so there is a two section, right? This one is nav bar and then one is this thing. So like basically it says that this main div has two sections. Okay, so let's assume as let's give the ID nav bar. Okay, let's give the name nav bar, and the second parent will be let's give it the name let's just say content. Okay, so if you see, just for now let's just focus on the nav bar. That is, if you just take a look at this. Okay, here you can see like you can divide them in three sections, right? Like section 1, section 2 and section 3. Okay, so if you assume this whole nav bar as one whole div, okay, that means a parent div, then this div has three children. Okay, so like three children divs. Okay, so first let's just try creating that. Okay, so let's go back. Let's give them three children. That is, let's call them div. Okay, let's call them nav bar or like nav lm. Okay, and we need like three sections. So into three. If you do that, you'll get three divs. Okay, so let's give it the name 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we have now three children. Okay, so let's work on the first one. Okay, just to check that we have three children, let's see. So we have nav lm1. Okay, let's just give a width of before that, before we do the nav lm, let's give some property to the nav bar. Okay, the first child, okay, first child of this whole big div, okay. So I give the ID navbar, right? So just type navbar. Since it's the ID, so you need to write hash, okay, navbar, and then just give a height of, since assuming this whole the vertical height is 100%, vertical height of the screen 100%. You don't want the navbar to take a lot of space, right? So let's just give the navbar at 10% space, so, which comes to basically this much. So let's just give you a height of 10%, okay, and width will be 100%. 100%, okay. So width will be 100%. Width as in the horizontal will be 100%. We want the navbar to consume this whole area. We just want the height to be small. So let's see whether it's working or not. So background color, just give it a color like aqua or something like dark, or just go with black. Okay, as you can see, it's working. Okay, it's working. So now let's go to the children divs. Okay, so the first children div is called we gave the name nav lm1. So we'll go to nav lm1, and then we'll give a width of or okay, let's try something else. So instead of dividing them, we have a CSS property where we can keep them in a certain way. It's something called we can make use of the flex, and then also the property that comes along with flex. Okay, so for the first child, okay, for the first child, that is first div child nav lm1, okay, we'll just we'll select the first child nav lm1, okay, and then we'll give a let's just write here a name. If we use h1 tag, it'll be too big, so let's just use some h2 tag again, like small heading tags. Let's give like a name. Okay, so once we give the name, and then you will be able to see the name here. Okay, now let's do some styling. Before that, let's just set the whole HTML contents. Okay, so we have this name, and the next we have the portfolio. Okay, so nav lm2 will also have the content. Okay, since the font is larger than this, it's probably using the f1, so we can h1, so we can use the h1 tag. Okay, and then we can write a portfolio. Okay, after that, next we have is this section where it says home, about me, education, profile, and context. Okay, so for that we can use the anchor tag, that is the a tag. Okay, so under this we can give them let's say a tag. Okay, so it has like 1 2 3 4 5 parts, so we can give it like 5. Okay, okay, so we have now 5 parts. Okay, so the first one is called home. Okay, the second one is called about me. Okay, the third one is called education, if I'm not wrong. Education and profiles. The next one is called contact. Okay, the last one is called contact. Okay, so if you go check, as you can see, they are not coming in the horizontal manner, but they are coming in the vertical manner next to each other. Okay, so in order to fix that, we can give the parent div some styling. Okay, so we can give this div something called display flags. Okay, so if you do that, these things comes together. Okay, the links you can't see them because they are here let's just give some different color. Okay, let's go something light. Okay, now you can see them. Okay, so we're given display flex. They have come in the same line, but you also want them to be, centered both horizontally and vertically. So justify content center. It means that the contents will be centered horizontally. Okay, and if you want them to be centered vertically, okay, but you don't want them to be centered. You want them to stay up, away from each other like that, like having like space between them. Okay, so for that we have this property called space between. Okay, so if you do space between, as you can see, they have like they're gone to the position where we want them to be. And after that, here you can see that they're vertically centered, right? But here they're vertically not centered. So in order to do that, just go to the style section. Okay, and then for vertical, to align items vertical, there is something called align items. Okay, and then you can give center. Now you can see they have aligned, center. Next thing we can do is here you can see some difference in the font, right? Here is this is the default font, and this is a font. Okay, the font name is Gilroy. So let's first connect the font. Okay, in order to do that, you can go to your browser and you can search for Gilroy font GitHub. Just go to this link. And then if you scroll down, you can see something like, you can just copy this link. Okay, just copy this link, go back to your HTML. Okay, and just below this, okay, just below the CSS, paste the link. And now go back to your style. Okay, and under this just type font family, and then you can type a Gilroy. Okay, so once you type that, you can see even your font got changed. Okay, so after okay, now we're done with the nav section, but we'll just give some styling to the navs. That is, the font are a little bit thicker, so we'll work with some text properties. Okay, so under the nav lm, so it basically means under this nav lm there is a h2 tag, right? So under the nav lm1, we want to make some changes in the h2 tag. Okay, so you'll type this, and then uh, it's just sticking to the left too much, right? So we'll give some padding for that. Okay, padding, let's give it something like 10 pixels. So now you can see it moved a bit inside, looks better. Okay, and then we can give it the font weight. Okay, what does font weight does is it's basically changes like bold or light. It just changes the weight of the font. Okay, if you give huge points, then the font will look very big. Okay, as you can see, it's like very bold. Okay, we don't want that. That's looks very awkward. So let's go with something 600. Okay, it's a little bit better. And then can go to the next one, that is nav lm2. Okay, so let's just copy this, and then let's type, this time we have h1 not h2, so just go back, remove this. Okay, so okay, let's remove the padding for now. Yeah, I think it's fine without even some paddings. Okay, so after that okay, it's nav lm2. Okay, so Next thing is we can move to the third one, the third children, that is nav lm3. Okay, so next one is nav lm3. Inside this nav lm3, they're too close to each other, so let's give some space. Okay, we'll just remove this since there is no h1 tag inside it. We just want some space, so we'll give padding. Okay, so let's just give it like 10 pixels. Let's try 100 pixels. It's too much space. Okay, for now let's just go with 10 pixels. What we can do is we can just give it padding to the right. Okay, so we're just padding to the right. Okay, that's much better. After that, okay, here if you see there is no underline, nothing, right? Okay, before that we also let's change the crosshair. Okay, as you can see the default crosshair looks something like this, and then the custom crosshair looks something like that. Okay, so let's just change that. To change that, just go to your browser. Okay, there are different types of crosshair styles, so you can just use anyone. Just go here and then just type cursor and just type crosshair. This way even the crosshair will change. After that, this is not necessary. If you don't want, you can just remove this. Okay, it'll go back to the default one. After that, here there is no underline or nothing, so let's just remove this underlines. Okay, so to do that, before that, let's just give them some names. Okay, let's just give some or let's just give some class name. Let's just call it space. Okay, and then we want the class to be in each. To select multiple lines, just click anywhere and then hold alt in your keyboard. Okay, just hold alt, press alt and keep holding it, and just keep clicking wherever you want the cursor to be. Okay, the cursor to be, so this way you can type in multiple lines at once. Okay, so I want the class and I want them to be space. Okay, so coming back to the CSS. Okay, so after that we have class. Okay, so in order to select class we use the dot sign. Okay, so we type space. Okay, and let's also give the padding left, so that way there is some padding towards the left side as well, not on just the right side. And then let's just give it 10 pixels. Okay, and then okay, now you can see the space is like almost same. And then you also notice that all of them are in uppercase, so to do it in CSS you just write text transform. Okay, this is a property called text transform. Okay, and then just to write uppercase, so it will just transform to uppercase. Okay, after that you can also give it color white, or you can just use the code like hashtag FFF, which basically means white. So we're almost done with the nav bar. Okay, you can remove the background color. You can remove, or you can just hide it for now. Okay, so after that Or you can make use of the background color, give it some like nice color. Let's say let's go with 14. You can pick any color that you like. Okay. And then you can also give it like a that's why it's all white. Okay, if you see there is some space, you know, the original one, it's the portfolio is a bit to the right, but this one is a bit to the left. So in order to move it to the a little bit to the right, what you can do is you can just give it a padding. Okay, so uh, portfolio is in the second child. Just select the second child. Okay, and then give it a padding left. Okay, padding left, and just let's try 50 pixels. Okay, it's still a little far away. Let's try 100 pixels. Okay, I think it's the same. Right now it's moved a little bit because we don't have the here we have the this scroll bar. Here we don't have the scroll bar. That's why it's not taking space. Okay. Anyways, coming back. So once we're done with that, now we can go to the picture part. This part that is the content part. Okay. So you can go back to your code and then now it's time for the content part. Okay. So let's first write the content part. So okay, before that, let's just set the background images. Okay. So the parent div, that is the main div, we gave it a height of 100%, right? The main div was a height of 100%. Okay. And then the nav bar took like 10%. So now let's do some math. Okay. So the parent div, okay, the parent div was 100% height. Okay. Height 100%. Okay. And then the first child took 10%. Okay. 10%, that is the nav bar is the first child, right? So the first child took 10%. So 100 minus 10, it's 90, right? So assuming this is a screen, okay? So the nav bar took 10%, okay? So like let's assume this is a 10%, okay? That the nav bar is taken. So we still have 90% left, right? So we can make use of the 90%, okay? So we'll give the next child is, so this is one child, okay, this nav bar. So we're done designing the nav bar. Okay, we're given the contents and then we also did the styling. Okay, so the first child is done. Now it's time for the second child, that is content, is in like the background images. Okay, these images. So we'll fix this image. For that, inside content, okay, let's select content first. Okay, so content. So we're left with the width will be 100%. Width is the horizontal one, so it will be 100% again. And then for the height, the nav bar took 10% height out of 100%, so we're still left with 90%. So we'll give it 90%. Okay. Then just to check, we'll just give it a background color. Okay, just give it red. As you can see, it's working. The nav bar is 10%, and the content area is 90%. Okay, so it's working. So next we can just take the image. So you can type background image. Okay, and then you can make use of the function URL. Okay, and then you can go to if you want some pictures, just go to unsplash.com. Okay, just we'll take the same picture. You can take any picture, or even you can put your own picture. Okay, there is no restriction in that. Let's search for that picture. Okay, what am I even typing? It's called portrait. Okay, let's search for the picture. Okay, as you can see, it's the it's this picture. So you can right click on the picture and then you can copy the image address. Okay, after you copy the image address, just go back to your this URL function, and inside this parenthesis or inside this bracket just paste the image. Okay, once you're done pasting, if you go to the, for now let's just hide this portion, and then if you go back to your portfolio, you'll see 3 different images. Okay, it's because we did not give the we have to give it, the image some properties. Okay, so in order to fix this, just go back to your style section. Okay, and in the next line, just give it like there's something called background size. Okay, background size, just give it cover. By cover, it will take the whole. Okay, and then it's only showing the top part. Okay, so there's another property called background. Okay, background position, you can give it center. Okay, if you give center, it will come to the center, it will cover the center area. Okay, if you give it a bottom, it will cover the bottom area. Okay, it'll go to the bottom area. Okay, so we want the center area, so this is center area. Okay, so after that so we bought the picture. So next thing we need to add is these 2 things. I am a software developer. Okay, so for that, we'll go to the HTML part. Okay, and inside this content, okay, we're done fixing the images, right? So what we'll do here is what we can do here is we can create 2 divs to store them differently. Okay, so let's just do that. Okay, just type div. Okay, and then just give it a name like cont. Okay, and then we need 2 of them, so let's give it 2. So here you can give it like content 1, content 2. Okay, so inside content 1, what you can do is give a let's just go with h4 tag. Okay, and then type that message. So it says IMA, and then next line it says software developer, right? Software developer. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's saying I am a software developer. Okay, so now let's apply some styles to it. Okay, so first we'll work with cont1. So selected cont1, and then we can just increase the font size. Let's just go with like 100 pixels. Let's see. Okay, that's too big. Let's go 60. Let's try 60. That's okay. Okay. And then I think that's still big. It's still bigger than this. Okay, so let's go with something small. Okay, let's go half of 60. 30. That's better. Yeah, and then let's give a font weight. Okay, let's give it a little bold. So let's go with something like 500. Okay, that's better. Now let's do the same for the second one. Let's just be specific. Okay, so for the second one, you can just copy paste. Okay, and then here you also use the same tag. So here the text size font or the font size is a little bit large. So what you can do is you can increase the font size with the help of CSS. So for that, just increase the font size. Okay, let's try 60. Right, okay, never mind. It's gone too. Okay, better. But I think that's large. Let's go 50. Okay, 50 is better. Okay, so now let's try to bring them in the center. Okay, so in order to do that, since these there are children divs under this whole div, right? This is one second div, okay? So like which acts as a parent div for these two. Like this is the parent div. Content is the parent div for these two divs, right? Count1 and count2. So what we can do is we can, similar to how we did it here, how we did, we gave the property flex and then the items came in the same line. Okay, what we can do is that we can do the same. So this content is the parent for the count1 and count2. So we can give flex, okay, flex, and then we can give display flex. Okay, okay. After that, you can. Okay, it's coming next to each other. We don't want that. We want them to be in, like, separately. So like we want them to align horizontally, like vertically, not horizontally. So for that, there's another property of flex called flex direction. Okay, flex direction. Okay, so usually this is one. Let's assume this is one div. Okay, and then let's say the contents are, the div children divs are, coming in this order. So if you make this parent div a flex, if you give the parent div the property called display flex, the children will, they will align in this manner. Okay, now you have two options. You have, like, inside that you have one more option, is that after you given the display flex, okay, you can direct the direction. Okay, the default direction it goes is, like, the default direction it goes horizontally, right? But if you give, like, a flex direction, if you give column, then instead of going to the next line, it will just go into this line. Okay, and then you may ask, like, the default one, even the default one follows the same order, right? So why should we take the trouble to, use flex, display flex, and then give it another property, like, and set a direction? Okay, why to do that, to go back to this, the original one? Okay, so why do we do that is that in order to use the property called, justify and align items. Okay, just to use these two properties we have to use the flex. Okay, so let's see how that works. We'll go back to your code. Okay, and then we'll give it flex direction column. Okay, now you can see, if I remove this, it's going with a default one that is horizontally, but I want them to align vertically. So if I remove this line, okay, as you can see, it's coming next to each other. Okay, so next thing what I want is, I want them to be in center, right? One text here and then one text here. Okay, so for that, what we can do is, we can do align items, okay, the center, so it comes like center here. Okay, and also I want them to be, aligned, centered. I want them to be centered both horizontally and vertically. So for vertical, we can go with justify content center. Okay, okay, let's give it the font color white. Okay, okay, that's better. Okay, okay, let's decrease the size of this. Let's give it something like 40. Okay, that's better. Okay, so okay, that's pretty much close. Okay, so we'll move to the next part. Okay, so the next part is where we go to the next section. So if you go to this, you can see the next section is it says about me. Okay, so first, before going to the next session, we need to write this text about me. Okay, so let's do that first. So you can go to the HTML. So we're done with this part as well. So you can close this whole div. Okay, we're done with the main section. Okay, so the next thing is, okay, if you notice, the same style, okay, the same like text in the line, it's being repeated everywhere, right? So instead of writing them individually every time, we can just make a class and then we can call it whenever we want. Okay, so let's just do that. So let's make a class. Okay, the for class you need to write dot and give the class name. Let's call it text. Okay, and it says about me, right? About me. Okay, it's here about me. Okay, now let's do some styling. So we'll select the class. Okay, so we give the class name as text, and let's give it. We need to increase the font size. Let's try with something like 50 pixels. I think that's too big. Yeah, that's too big. Let's go. Let's try a little smaller. Let's go with something like 33 pixels. I think that's better. Yeah, that's better. Okay, and then it's a little bit thin, so let's make it a little bit thick. So for that we have property called font weight. Just give it 600. Looks much better. Okay, and then after that we want it to be centered, right? So what we'll do is, and also it's under a div, so we can make use of the flex property. So let's just do that. Let's just give display flex. Okay, and then just give it, we want it to be centered, right? So now it has come to the center. Okay, and then if you see, there is a gap above it, right? Above this there is a gap. So in order to achieve that, we can make use of the margin. So let's say margin, and then we want it on the top side, so we'll write top. Let's just give it 60 pixels. I think that's fine. Yeah, 60 pixels is fine. And then the next thing is there is a line at the bottom, right? This line. So let's achieve that first. So for that, first let's give this a space. Okay, so we need padding. We need the space at the bottom. So padding bottom. Okay, and then let's just go with 30 pixels, half of the margin. Okay. Okay, looks better. And then there is a line, right? So for line, it's simple. Just go to style and then write border bottom. We want it on the bottom side. Okay, we want like 1 pixel. We want it to be solid and we want it to be black. So 000. Okay, there is a line, but we can't see because it's at the edge. So if I make another div, that is, if you go to the next section, which will be this part. Okay, with the picture. But if you just have a look, there is like two divs. Okay, this one box will be the parent div. This is like one whole parent div. Okay, inside this parent div you can see like one div. This is one div. Okay, inside this one div there is like two different divs again. Okay, you can see there is two different divs. Similarly here there is two different divs. Okay, so first let's create a HTML structure for that. Okay, so let's just give it a name, ID, let's call it edu. Okay, so inside this it has one big child. Okay, so okay, and then inside this child, that is, so like this is one whole, big box. Okay, this thing is one big box. Inside this box there is two box again, like this is one box. Okay, and this is the another box. Okay, so let's make this two box first. Okay, so each one will be like this box. So inside this box there is two different box again. So we can call it just like let's just call it part one. Okay, part, and then we want to them. Okay, so we can call it like part one and part two. Okay, and let's do some styling. Let's see whether it's showing up. So we give the name as edu, right? So the parent div will be edu. Okay, it will have the width of 100% as usual, and then height also will be 100% since it's the parent. Okay, next thing we can do is okay, so this is one, let's assume this is one big box. Okay, inside this box there is two more box. The first box and the second box. Okay, there is two box, and then inside this those two box there is another box that is, for the first box we have, this was one box. Okay, second box, this is the second box. Okay, but it's basically this is the parent div. The parent div has two child, the first child, the second child, and the first child has another two subchild, that is this is the first child and this second child. Okay, similarly for that one, for this one as well, this is the second child of the root parent. Okay, and then inside this you have two section. First section is this one, the picture, first box, and the second box is the social media links. Okay, so we give the first box as edu1, we give the name edu1. Okay, here edu1. Okay, let's also give div edu2. So edu1 and edu2 are the, this is the parent. Okay, this is the next to parent, these two. Okay, and then whatever comes inside this child, are the subchilds. Okay, so okay, so for part one, edu1. we'll divide the section. So let's call it width. We want it. So if we just see the for part one, edu1 and edu2, edu1 takes most of the space, right? So let's assume this is 100%, this whole thing. Okay. Assuming this whole thing is 100%, okay. You can see the edu1 takes most of the portion compared to edu2. So let's call it like 60-40 split. Okay, so we'll just give it a width of 60%. Okay, and the height will be 100%. Like basically the height of the parent. Okay, let's just give a background color to see where it's showing up. Let's call it red. And then let's do the same for edu2, but here the change will be 40. So like 60 plus 40 is 100, right? And then we want it to be, let's go with something green. Okay, now as you can see, they are coming next to, like, they're aligning horizontally, vertically and not horizontally. We want the green box to come here, the second child. So in order to do that, like what we always do is we use display flex. Okay, so if you do that, now you can see they're next to each other. Okay, now we can start working on the inside part. Okay, so now we're done setting the parent. Now we can work on the inside part. So for the first part, we have two sections. First section is this is the first section, and this is the second section. So basically, if you go to the code, first section is like the text part, and this will be the link or the logo parts. Okay, icon parts. So let's go with the first part. Okay, so if you see, you can see there is some random text. Okay, there is some random text. This is just randomly generated text. So the first part contains more text than the second part. So in order to generate any type of random text, okay, what you need to do is just type. Okay, let's just with the heading tag, because this thing is larger compared to this one. Okay, so h2 tag, and then what you can do is you can just type lorem. Okay, and then you can just type the number of words you want. Okay, like how many random words you want. If I type 1000, it'll just pop up 1000 text. Okay, as you can see, I'm just popping up 1000 text, but we don't want that. So just give let's just go with something like 30. Okay, let's work with that first. Okay, and then for the second one, you can simply make a br. I'll just write a br here. Okay, and for the second one, you can go with something like a paragraph tag, and then you can here you can do the same. Use lorem. It has more text, I believe. Yeah, it has more text. So let's call it. Let's give it 100 random text. Okay, much better. Now let's do some styling. Let's change the font, and then let's apply some stylings. Okay, so for that, so for the first part, okay, so we get the ID part 1. Okay, so for the first part, let's be more specific. Part 1. Okay, we are targeting part 1, and then inside part 1 we're targeting h2 tag, right? So just to be safe, let's be more specific. Okay, so we're inside part 1, inside id part 1 we're targeting the element h2. So we can give the property as let's call it, let's first align. It's, as you can see, the alignment is justified. Okay, so let's do the same for this one. It's not justified, it's like more to towards intended side. So let's do like justify. Okay, as you can see, it's justified. Okay, and but still there is like more spaces. We can do text justify inner word. Go with inner word. Okay, okay, can go with like, font is a little bit bold. Can go with 500. That's better. Okay, never mind. Font weight. Okay, that's much better. Okay, there is a property called letter spacing. Okay, this what does letter spacing do is that letter spacing, as you can see, there are like lots of space, even between the letters, right? So with the help of letter spacing you can reduce these gaps. Okay, so let's try. Okay, just to show you guys, let's do -10 pixels. As you can see, it removes all the space, right? So we don't want this one. We'll go with let's try 3, -3. It's still messy. Let's go -2. No, too much congested. I think 1 will be fine. -1. Yeah, -1 is fine. Okay, and then even the word spacing is too big, so let's do that as well. Word spacing. Okay, you can give like a, let's try 1 pixels. I think that'll do. Or 2 pixels. Yeah, 2 pixels will do. Okay, so now we'll move to this part. So inside part 1, inside the id part 1, now we're gonna target the p tag with this like paragraph tag. Okay, so let's just do the same. Just copy these properties. Instead, here, well, what we change is we can reduce the font size. Okay, since this font is smaller compared to this font. Okay, so let's just go something like 22 pixels. Okay, and then let's go part 1. Okay, 22 pixels. Looks better. And I think we can leave the rest the same. Okay, now next part will be this part. So even this inside, let's assume there is a box. Okay, even inside this box there is 3 portion, 1, 2, and 3. So for that, First, let's make this part. Okay, so inside this part too. So first if you notice, they are following the same format, right? Like everything is same, just the contents are different. Like all the stylings are same. So in that case, you can go for go with a class. Yeah, you can make a class and then similar to text, how we did for the text. How we did for this. We just made one class and then whenever we want to use, we just call the class, right? So similar to that, we can make use of the class for that. So let's go to the code and then here we can inside part 2. This is part 1. Part 2 we're going to create part 1, part 2. This is part 1. We're going to create part 2 now. So for that, just div. Let's go give it a class name. Let's call it info. Okay, and then we want 3 of them. Okay. So inside the first one, it has phone number, right? Yeah. So it has phone number like phone. Okay, and then it holds the phone number. Let's use it with the p tag. Okay. For the second one, it has email. Okay, and okay, splainscubes@gmail.com. And for the third one, it has the website. Okay, so it's the same one. Website. Okay, then we can use the p tag, and we can give it the website splainscubes.com. Okay, so we're done with the structure for the part 2. So if you go back to this one, you can see they're all scattered together. So you want them to align in this way. So for that, what you can do is you can make use of flex. Okay, if you do flex, all these 3 items will come align horizontally. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to give the parent display flex. So the parent is part 2. Okay, so we'll just write part 2. Okay, so display will be flex. Okay, now you see they're coming next to each other, but we also want them to be to have equally space in between them, equal space among them. So for that, you can use justify content. Okay, and then you can make use of space between, not around, space between. Okay, we're done with this part. Let's move with this part. So there's an image and there's their social media handle. Okay, so for that, we'll move to part that is the second child. So in this case, the second child is edu2, this one. So inside this, we'll make the structure, HTML structure. So there is a picture and few social media handle, right? So for that, let's make okay. What we can do is we can just make a div and then we can hold both of them inside it. Okay, so let's just call it image. Okay, and then inside the div we can make use of the image. We can just make use of the same Okay, make use of the same image. Okay, now the image is too big. We'll come back to it. We'll style the images. Okay, so we have given the image, and then the next thing will be we need to we need the icons, right? Okay, so for the icons, you need to go to this website called Remix Icon. Okay, and then just click on this GitHub, then just scroll down. Okay, scroll down until you see this CDN. Okay, the CDN link. Just copy this link. Okay, and then go back to your code, and then just below this font. Okay, just paste this link. Okay, and then okay. So now after you paste that, you can use their fonts. Okay, okay. So inside this div, you can make another div that will hold the images. So let's just call it a banner. Okay, it will basically have 3 icons. So I into 3. Okay, so you can go back to Remix Icon. Okay, so it had Instagram, X, and YouTube. Okay, so you can just go to the logos, and you can find just search for me. Okay, Instagram. I think this is the logo. Yeah, this one. Just click on it. Just copy, or you can just copy. Okay, you can just copy this and you can paste it. Okay, you just remove this and you can paste it. Okay, the second one was X, so you could just search for X. Okay, or you can search like Twitter. It's this one. Just copied it. Okay, just go back to the code and just paste it. Okay, the third one was YouTube. Okay, just search for YouTube. And just copy this one. Just go back, just paste it. Okay. Okay, so at least here's the icon. Here are the icons. Okay. So now we'll do some styling on it as well. Okay. So you can go back to your styles. First, we need to fix this image. Okay. You can go back to styles, and then the image is inside this image ID, right? So you select the ID. So when you select the ID, it's called image. Okay, and then in that image, you're trying to target the image tag. Okay, so let's get the width will be 100%. Basically, the width of the parent. Okay, as you can see, it's getting contained. Okay, and then you can give the height as 70% because you want the thing to be the banner handle, social media handle to be covered in the same space, right? So like we'll give this image a height of 70%, and then for the 30% we can make use of, we can make use to show these icons. Okay, and then just give it object fit. It's got cover. so that it'll fit at least. Okay. After that, we'll come back to this part, and then I just give flex direction. Okay, column, so they align, and then first we have to give display flex. Okay, so as you can see, now they're aligned. Okay, let's just give some space around them. Okay, so for that, just give them padding space on the left side. Let's just give like 60 pixels. Okay. Okay, we get some space. Let's also give some space on the top side. Padding top. Okay, let's go with. Let's just give equal spacing. Okay, let's give on the right side as well. Padding right. Let's give 60 pixels. Okay. Okay, that's very much it. Okay, so now let's go to this part. So for that, we stored all the icons inside an ID called banner, right? So we can make use of this ID to target the, these eyes. Okay, so let's target that ID banner. So inside the banner, we have this, first let's fix the banner. Okay, so we can give the banner a width of 100%. Okay, and then we can take the remaining height, that is, we give this image the height of 70%, right? So the rest 30% we can make use for the banner. So height 30%. So it's like 70 plus 30 is equal to 100, right? Okay, and then we can give it a display flex so that we can use the properties called justify content. Justify content, you can make it center. Okay, as you can see, it comes in the center. Okay, here, and we can give like since these are icons, we can apply font size on them. Okay, so what we can do is we can just do font size. Okay, and then let's go with 30 pixels. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so now now that we're done with it, we can inside the banner. Okay, banner parent div, there's a element called I, the I text, the icons. We can give like a margin left. Okay, we can give like spacing among the icons. Okay, let's give it like 30 pixels. So like there's spacing. You can also do the same, and then you can call it for like the right. Okay, or we can call it the top. I think top will be better instead of right. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, it looks better. Yeah. Okay, so this part is done. Let's fix this part. So we have okay, we have edu1. Inside this we have two children, main children, that is part 1 and part 2. And inside part 2 there is another class, children, 3 children, basically 3 class. Okay, so for the edu1, we initially give the height 60%. Okay, and then width is 60%, height is 100%. And now we can just remove this color right as well. Okay, and then edu2 we did thing image, we fix the image. Banner is done. Okay, next thing left is this part. Okay, so what we can do is, since we need space like this, what we can do is we can target the parent, like the parent box, and we can get the spacing. So in order to do that, since part 1 is the parent that holds the text, okay, basically this part, the text part, okay, and then part 2 holds this whole part, right? So let's work on part 1 first, okay. So before this, let's select part 1, okay, part 1, okay, and then you can give like width 100%, okay, then height will be 80%, okay. Basically what I'm doing is that how we did, we shared space, like 60 80 70% and 30%, like, so 70 plus 30 is equal 100, right? So similarly for here also, what I'm doing is I'm giving it the height 80%, right? So this text will, like, this part will take the space 80% of the parent height, and then we can make use the remaining height, that is like 20%, to store all this, okay. Okay, so okay, and also let's give some padding, okay. Let's go 60 pixels and 60 pixels. Okay, what does this 60-60 means is that 60 top bottom, 60 left right, okay. If you give it 0, you can see there is no space in top and bottom, okay. If I give 60, there is space in top and bottom. If I give 0, there is no spacing in left and right, okay. So that's how it works. The first value will be top and bottom, the second is for left and right, okay. Okay, this thing looks much better. Now let's go to the second part, that is part 2. For the part 2, I think we already wrote some part 2, okay. We do need some space, so for the part 2, let's do like let's give some space padding, okay. Let's let's go with like padding top 50 pixels will do. Okay, and then instead of between, what if we make use of evenly? Yeah, that looks much better. We can also remove the green background, okay, so it'll look like this, which is very identical to this one, okay. Yeah, very much identical. Okay, so now we're done with this. We can go to the next part. That will be your education part. So we already designed this part, right? This text and the this line, okay, here. So we can simply make use of that. So we can just go back the HTML. We are done with this part, okay. We can just copy this line, you can paste it, and then the next part was education, I guess. Yes, education. So we can just write education, okay. Now if you check here, you can see there is already part called education. You not need to write everything from the start, okay. So now you're done with that. We'll go to the next part, that is designing the section, this section. So this section is very simple, okay. There is one big box, okay. Let's just call it like one div, okay. There's one div. Inside this div there is another 3 divs, okay. Let's call this div 1, okay. div2 and div2 or div3. Okay, and then what is div is like divs are basically like rectangles. Okay, they're in the shape of rectangles. Okay, they're basically in the shape of rectangles. Okay, so they're basically in the shape of rectangles. Okay, and so this is one big box, another div. These are called the children divs. Okay, and inside these divs there is like two more divs. Okay, so like first part and then second part. Okay, okay. So inside this box there is two more box. That is this first part, second part. Okay, so it's like a nesting of divs. Okay, so let's design that first. Let's design the structure first. Okay, so we can give it an ID called let's call it education. Okay, so this will be the main div. Okay, so what we can do is can take the main ID, so it's for education, right? Okay, and then we can give it a width of 100%. Okay, and if notice, the education is not taking the whole screen, right? It's just taking a small portion, right? Compared to the other divs, it's just taking a small portion. Okay, so we'll just do that. Okay, so for that, what we can do is we can adjust the height accordingly. Okay, so I think 40% will be enough, or you can take any height. Okay, it's not it's not that you have to take 40%. Like you can take even 100% if you want, according to your needs. Okay, if you want 50%, you just go 50%. You know. Okay, so we give it 40%. Let's just give a background color to see whether it's working. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I think this will be enough just to show the education. The institutions, name of these institutions. Okay. Okay, so inside the coming back to the HTML. Now there's gonna be three, or instead of making three different divs, we can make one class, and we can just copy paste those class. Okay, so if you come here, you'll see there is two sessions. Okay, or like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 sessions. Okay, like 5 different parts. Okay, so we can divide them into two sessions. First box and second box. Okay, so let's just call it let's make a div class. Okay, we can name it like a year. Okay, and another div. Let's just name it says or we can do one more thing. We can just remove this. Let's make a div class. We can make it name it as edu. Do this here so that it'll be easier to repeat. Okay, and we can make another div to store the details of the institution. So let's just call it div class institution. Okay, class name institution. Okay, but for now let's just write down the same details. 2004, 2008. Inside let's make use of actually tag 2004 to 2008. Like, okay, 2008, and then next thing we have is I think we can go with like h4 tag, right? HSLC. Okay, inside institutions there is like 3 parts. Okay, so like a heading tag, small heading tag, and paragraph tag, I guess. So let's try. First will be the heading tag, so we can go something like h3. Let's just write out Saint Joseph higher. Okay, so as far as secondary school. Next will be the location, so we can make use of like some smaller heading tags like h5. Okay, Chumuke Dima Nagaland. Okay, And next we can make use is, I think paragraph tag will do. Okay, paragraph tag, inside there we can make use of lorem, and then maybe like I think 15 will do. Yeah, 15 will do. Yeah, we can add more if you want. Okay, so now if I just take this whole edu class, okay, this edu class, okay, if I take this whole class, okay, and then if I just paste them like, okay, so now I have like 3 different parts. Okay, 1, 2, like class. Since it's a class, they can be repeated. Okay, if it's an id, it's, you can repeat them, but it's not a, healthy way of using id. Okay, so now let's give the styling to this. Okay, so the first thing we have is something called edu. Okay, like the class name edu. So if you see here, there is a lot of padding, so let's work with that first, like a lot of space. So to select a class, we use the dot. Okay, and then the class name is edu. Okay, and inside edu there is a lot of space, so we'll go padding. We don't want to give padding on like top and bottom. Okay, we want to give padding to, let's say, left and right. Let's go with 100 pixels. Okay, and okay, let's first bring them like horizontally. Okay, let's align them horizontally. Okay, so just go to the parent div. Okay, the parent div, and then just write display flex. Okay, okay, now it's much better. The next thing we can do is can align item center. Basically, it'll center them horizontally, like vertically. I mean vertically. Okay, so looks much better. Yeah. Next thing we can do is can just justify content, space evenly, so that there will be, yeah. After that, okay, let's first try putting this line. Okay, so what we can do is in the pair, like the first child, like on this edu class. Okay, the edu class, the first class, or like if you just apply to one class, it'll automatically get applied to other classes as well. Okay, so we can just select the first class, that is edu. Okay, so we have already selected. So now what we can do is we can give a border. Okay, and then we want the border on the right side, so we can write border right. Okay, we can give it a 1 pixels, solid black. Oh, it's 0, 0, 0. Okay, okay, there comes the thing. But if you notice, there is a border. Okay, if you notice, as you can see, there is a border even at the end, right? And then we don't want the border at the end. Okay, so in order to remove that, okay, let's give it 100%. Okay, what we can do is we can make use of this property called another child. Okay, so just select the class. Okay, inside this class, the last child, that is last child, basically means this child. Okay, I don't want it to have any border. Okay, so border right, none. Okay, so that way the border gets removed. Okay, if you zoom, there is no border at the end. Okay, if you don't do this thing, okay, if I comment it out, you can see there is a border even at the end. Okay, here you can see the border at the end. Okay, but if I now there is no border. Okay, so that's how you do it. Okay, okay, so let's move this to this section. let's try to add some space and then try to make this line. Okay, so for that, if you go to HTML, we get this. We're done doing for the edu class. Okay, so now we'll go to the year section, that is this part. Okay, so for that, okay, what do we have here? Okay, there's a space, and also there is, okay, some font. Okay, this is not bold, this is bold. Okay, and also we have to add a line. Okay, so okay, first let's work with the year. Okay, with this. So if I, so in order to select the year class, just type dot and then year. Okay, and then here you can there is a space, right? So you can do like padding bottom. Okay, and then you can give the padding like let's go with 22 pixels. Wait, why did it not get any effect? Okay, it's year, not year. Okay, it's year. Okay, okay. Now there's just some space. Okay, and we're done with the space. Next thing is it needs a line. So let's give it a line. So what we can do is we can do a border. Okay, bottom. Okay, one line at the bottom, 1 pixel solid. Okay, and we can go with the black. Okay, much better. And then this is bold and this is thin. Okay, so inside here there is H3 and H4, right? So let's do some work for the H3. So dot here, inside this class there is an element called H3. Okay, so want some, let's give some space, padding, let's give it like bottom. Okay, 5 pixels. Okay, there's some space now. Let's give a font. Okay, wait, let's, okay, first of all let's remove this thing. Okay, so the year is not bold and this thing is bold. Okay, let's give a font weight of 400. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah. Okay, so next we're done with the year at the top part. Now we can go to this second part. Okay, now as you can see, I was just applying to this single element, but since these three same shares the same class name, so if I make changes here, everything is getting affected, right? So that's why it's wise to use class when there's gonna be many elements which gonna share the same styling. Okay, so we're done with this part. We're gonna move to the second part. Okay, so we have institution, and then inside institution we have H3, H5, and PTech. Okay, let's go with it. First of all, let's give some. Okay, let's give some space above this. Okay, so we can do that by, okay, select institution. Okay, so institution. Okay, and then we can give like padding. We want the padding space on the top side, so like padding top. Can go with like 18 pixels. Okay, much better. Next thing is inside this institution there is a H3 tag. Okay, I'm targeting the H3 tag, and then I want it is going to the next line, right, due to having so much space between them. So what I can do is I can remove the letter spacing. I can do like 1 pixel minus 1 pixel. Okay, now it's on the same line. Okay, I can do like word spacing just to make it look better. Let's go with 4 pixels. Okay, there's some space between the words. Okay, let's give some space at the bottom, so like padding bottom. Okay, let's just go with like small variables. Yeah, that's better. Okay, and then we want it to be bold, like even more bold. So font weight, let's go with 600. That's look better. Nice. I think 900 is very thick. That's too thick. I don't have that much space. 600 is better. Okay. So we're done with the styling of this H3. The next element inside is next to H3 is H5. Okay, so we repeat the same. Okay. Inside this H3 institution class, there is a tag called H5. Okay. So let's give some space between below, like 5 pixels. Okay, and font weight 500. That's much better. Okay, I think we achieved what we wanted to achieve. Yeah, like they're almost the same. Okay, so we're done with this part as well. Okay, and then let's move on to the next part. That will be education done. Okay, so next part will be profiles. Okay. Okay, inside these profiles, similar to how I did before, you don't need to rewrite this thing same again and again. You can just copy paste. Since it shares a similar class name. Okay, so you can just here you can just close this education. Okay, we're done with this part as well. Okay, just copy this text. Okay, and then paste it here, and then I think the next part is called profiles. Okay, just write profiles. Okay. Okay, profiles. Much better. Okay, so after that, let's create the HTML structure for the profiles. Okay. Before that, let's understand what are the things inside profiles. Okay. Okay. So let's assume this is one div. Okay. Like this is one div. Okay. Inside this one div, there is two small divs. Okay. So like this will be the first div, and this will be the second div. Okay. So this is the parent div. Okay, this will be the first child div, and this will be the second child div. Okay, but as you can see, all the styles that are applied here are they're similar, right? They just when I hover over them, they share the same. They're showing the same effect. It's just that the styling is done independently. Okay, so we can, instead of giving them separate IDs, we can just make use of the classes to give them the same effects. Okay. So so what we need is we need one container, one div, which should hold two divs. Okay, and inside these two divs, there's gonna be 3 icons. Okay, so like in total 6 icons. So you can do is you can make a div. Okay, and then we can give it the ID. Let's call it profiles. Okay. Okay, so inside this you have two parts. Let's divide them div. Okay, I think we can just call them, like, since they're gonna share the same styling properties, we can just you know uh, give them same class. Okay, inside this now you have is the links. Okay, for that, similar, just go to this. Yeah, just go to the logo, What do we need? Okay, we need the Instagram, like X. Just copy this, go back to your code. Inside this part, you can just make another div. Okay, just give the class name. Just give the LMs. There's gonna be 3 icons, right? So just 3. Okay. Inside this div, you can paste your icon. Okay, and you want, I think, yeah. Okay, there is a link embedded. So in order to give the link, what you can do is you can embed this I tag inside of A tag. Okay, just A. Okay, okay, and then you can paste your icon here. Okay, similarly for this one. The next one is LinkedIn. So let's find LinkedIn. I can just type. Okay, just copy this, go back, just type A tag, just paste it here. Next one is GitHub. Just search GitHub. Just take this one, copy this tag, I tag, go back, open a anchor tag. Okay, and just paste it here. Okay, so if you just see now, okay, there is this tree, right? And you need 3 more. Okay, so under this, do the same, make div, give it a class name called LMs. Okay, and then we need 3 of them. Okay, so for the first one, Notion. Okay, so search for Notion. In this one, just copy it, go back, open an anchor tag, and just paste it here. Okay, the next one is Stack Overflow. So just search for Stack. This one, copy, paste it here. The next one is YouTube. Just search for YouTube. Click here, copy the icon, just paste it here. Okay. Okay. One thing you can do is, I forgot to make the tag here. Okay, just cut this line, open the anchor tag, and paste it here. Okay, do the same for this one. Okay, just cut, open the anchor tag, and paste it here. Okay, so now if you check, you will have all the 6 icons. Okay, now it's time to apply the styling. So first we'll start the styling from the LMs. Okay, from the inside we'll go to the outside. Okay, so let's just go with a regular route. We'll go with the parent, and then we'll go with the child divs. Okay, so the parent div is profiles. So just target the profile. It's an ID, so ID profiles. Okay, it's profiles, right? Yeah, with a S. Okay, profiles. Open the tag, and then can give the width 100%. Okay, can set the height. I think 60% will be enough. We are not gonna use much space. It's using only small. Okay, just to see whether it's working or not. Background color, let's give it blue. Okay, okay, it's working. Okay, now you can comment this line. Okay, and then you want them to be okay. Let's just give some space on the top. Okay, margin top, let's give like 50 pixels. Okay, there's some space now. I think this will be enough for the parent class. We can move on to the next one, that is parts. Okay, class name parts. which holds this, which holds these three items. So since it's a class, we can write dot parts. The weight will be 100%. Okay. The height will be 50%. Let's just go with. Okay. After that, we want, since this is the parent, this class name parts is the parent, and then inside this parent there is three children, right? So if we give this parts, like the class name parts display flex, all these elements, that means these three elements will align in the horizontal line instead of the vertical line. So if I give this part display flex, okay, they are now aligned horizontally. Okay, and then they have space in between, so I can give them like, okay, I can give them like a justify content space evenly. Okay, they have space evenly. Now can give us a margin. Let's go space at the bottom. Okay. Margin bottom, and then can go for 10 pixels, and then let's give overflow hidden. Okay, what does overflow hidden do is that when when we do this zooming effect, it doesn't go outside its uh, area. Okay, and even if it goes outside the area, it will show, it will touch the other elements. Okay, so okay, let's move on to the next class, and then we'll come back if something is missing. Okay, so that class is element that holds the whole thing. So dot element. Okay, was it lm or lms? Okay, it's lms. Okay, so you can give a width of let's go like 300 pixels. Okay, height of, let's say, okay, and then padding top and bottom 100 pixels, left and right 0. Okay, text align center, and then what I can do is, since it's an icon, I can make use of the font size property. Let's go with like 30 pixels. Okay, now what we can do is, we want to remove all these lines. Okay, here you can see there is no the underline effect, right? So let's move that. So inside the class lms, okay, inside class lms we have this add text, right? So inside class lm, okay, we're targeting the add tag, and then we want the color to inherit. Okay, for now I'll explain what is inherit. Okay, before that, let's do text decoration none. This way the underline will go away. Okay, and then even if the underline is gone, it still has a different color, like that. This is the default color for any type of link. Okay, but we want it to follow the same color, right, what the other format is following. So that's why we use color. Inherit is a property where it inherits it's inherit. Okay. So inherit, it's like inherit. It's just how the children's they inherit their parents' property, right? So it's something like that. The children is inheriting its parents' property. In this case, property is gonna be the whatever styling is applied to the parents. Okay, so the children are also gonna inherit that same property. Okay, so that's why it's following the same color formats. Okay, so now we fixed it. Now let's add in this effect, this zooming effect. Okay. So what I can do is, what we can do is, before that, okay. So when I hover, it's doing the zooming, right? So let's do that first. Okay, so okay, so elements, inside the elements class. Okay, when I hover inside anywhere inside the class or anywhere near the class, I want it to transform. Okay, and then inside the transfer, I want it to zoom in, right? So for that, I have a property called scale, and then I can give the value like something like for now let's go 1 or maybe 1.1. Okay, there is a zoom in effect, but like it's very small, so let's just increase this. Let's go with 2.9. Okay, better. Or we can go like 3. Let's try 3. Okay, even better. Okay, so now we're done with the zooming effect. But here, if you notice, you know, if I when I hover and it zooms in, it shows the effect of its like original icon. Okay, like the original icon color format is red and white. For this, it's orange. For Notion, it's black itself. Even for the X, it's black. For LinkedIn, it's blue and white. For GitHub, the official logo is black. Okay, so in order to do that, we can make use of the property called nth child, and then we can specifically target each child, and we can uh, apply the stylings. Okay, so can do like lms. Okay, inside lms class, you know the first child, it means nth child. Okay, the first child, which means in this case will be x. Okay, when I hover, inside on the first child, that means the x, I want the color to be black, since the official color is black. Or for example, let's go with red. Okay, so if I hover, so when I go on the first child, okay, as you can see, it's working, right? So for the first one, uh, it's black only, so we'll just write black. Okay, for the second one, the LinkedIn official color was blue, so for that we can do, what we can do is, you know dot lms, inside this class, the child will be like the second child. When I hover over the second child, okay, so when I hover over it, I want its color to go, what's the official color? Okay, I have the color with it. For now, you can just follow this code. Okay, I want its color to change to hashtag 77b5. Okay, okay, as you can see, it's changing. For the third child, uh, it's lms. Okay, inside the lms. Okay, and that child, the third child, when I hover over it, okay, I want the color to change to its I think it's the default color for GitHub logo is black itself, so we'll just use the black. Use the black. Okay. Okay. Now, if you see, I applied for the first child, second child, and third child only, right? But since all of them shares the same classes, the same effect is getting shared. For the notion, the same effect is getting shared, and for this one, the second child, the same effect is getting shared, and then for this one, the same effect is getting shared. Okay. So how to differentiate, them from each other? Okay. So in order to do that, what we can do is we'll use the same NHI logic, but what we can do is we can target it as like uh, parts 2. Okay, so inside parts 2, okay, the second and then child. So for the parts, the second child will be this one, right? So inside this, okay, the second LMs, okay, so we'll target the all these shear LMs. So okay, it'll be better if I write it down and explain. So inside the parts, okay, parts class, okay, inside it, the second NH child, okay, the second NH child. So inside these parts, the second NH child will be like this one, the second part child, okay. So and when the LMs, okay, so inside the second parts, okay, so like where if I say dot LMs here, so it's basically saying that I'm targeting these LMs, okay. So LMs dot NH child, okay, so we can go with the same. So we can go what this line means is that this whole line means is that inside this class, okay, for the class name parts, okay, that means the second we are targeting the second class, so it will go to this section, okay. So and then inside this section we are targeting the LMs, okay, so like this LM class we are targeting first child, which means this first child, okay. So when I hover over this, it should change the color to black. So the color should be black. So that's the default color for. Okay. That's the default color for Notion. Okay. So we'll do the same. Okay. So how to target this? Okay. So I think the Stack Overflow color is orange. Okay. It's something like related to orange. So inside the part like the parts class. Okay. The second and a child. Okay. So like wherever there is a part class name parts, okay, so there's like multiple parts, right? So it'll target this second part, okay. So let's say there is a 10 class name and they all share the same name, let's say parts, okay. They're sharing like there's 10 divs, okay, there's 10 divs and then all of them has the same class name parts, okay. So if you do like dot parts and then nhl2, then it will go to the second part, okay, second div, okay. If you do dot parts and then if you type 10 nhl 10, it will go to the last child, okay, the last div, okay. So that's how it works. So and then once you have selected this section, okay, once you've selected this section, inside these you're targeting the LMs, okay. So LMs, okay. So now you're going to the second child. So when I hover over the second child, which is this one, in that what I do is I want the color to change to the Stack Overflow default color, so it will be hashtag F4. Okay. There's another there's a better way to find it out, okay. So if you just go to extensions, or you can just go to Chrome extension, okay, and then you can search for something called color Zilla, okay. Just add to Chrome, add extension. Okay, the color Zilla is now installed, okay. So just pin it, okay, and then let's go to Stack Overflow. Okay, now just click on this, okay, and then uh, pick a color, okay, and then just hover over this area, okay. Then you can just go back here, just take this code, close this one, you can go back to your code, and then you can just put the hash. As you can see, it's the same, right? So that's how you take, the accurate exact colors, okay, with the help of a color picker. That's how to do it. So if you go back, now it's the official color. So for the YouTube, let's do the same. Just go to YouTube. Okay. You can go to the YouTube, and then you can make use of this again. The color, and then okay, you can just go to this area. Just click. Okay, then you can go back. So let's try to target the last child. So it'll be the same. Okay, dot parts. Okay, the second parts. Okay, and a child 2. Inside it the LMs. Okay, inside the LMs we are targeting the third child. That is this one, YouTube one, YouTube icon. Okay, so I want the color to change to this one, the code that we took just now. Right. Okay, we get 2 hashes. Okay, as you can see, it's working now, right? So I think that's it for this one as well. Yeah. Okay, as you can see, everything is working fine. Okay, so we're done with the profile section as well. We'll move on to the last section, that is the context section. Okay, so if you see in the context section, it's once again it's similar again. So like there's this one big box. Okay, there's this big box. Okay, like one parent div. Inside this parent div there is like 4 different divs, 1, 2, 3 and 4 divs. Okay, and then so first we'll have to make a structure for it. Let's first make the structure. Before that, once again you have to write these down again. So since we have already made it with the help of a class, we don't need to write it. You can just copy paste the text, and then we can edit the text. And then the styles, they are saved in one class. So if you just give it the class name, it'll just get affected. So let's do that. Okay, so if you go back to here, and then we're done with this profile section as well, so close it. Just take this text one and copy and just paste it here. Okay, so the next part is called context. Just call it context. Okay, this is the last one. Okay, so let's divide the portions. Okay, so let's give it a main div, like a not main div but a div with a name. Let's give it context. Okay, then if you see, as you can see, similar to how all these were done, it doesn't take the whole height, but it only takes a small portion. So first let's give it that's the small portion. Okay, the width will be full, but just the height is not full. It's like 50% or maybe 60%. We can give it 50 or 60%. So if you go back to style, if you write context, okay, context, and then is it context or context? Okay, context. Okay, give like a width 100%. Okay, Height of maybe like 50% will do. We don't need much. Okay, just to check, let's give a background color. Let's go with this one. Okay, okay, it's showing up. Okay, first let's just make this 4 boxes. Okay, let's make these 4 boxes before we do anything. Okay, so for that, so first we need to make the structure. Okay, we can give like 4 divs with their ID. Like so, just give them any ID. Let's call it details. Let's just call it details. We have like 4 boxes, so 4. Okay. Second one we can call it as details 1. Okay. Next one we can call it socials. Like yeah, details socials, and then the copyright we can just call it as rights. That'll do. Rights. Okay. So let's just give them separate heights and divs. Okay, so the first one is details. Okay, let's target the details. Okay, let's give a width of 30%. We don't need much space, and height less. Height, if you give 100%, it'll take the 100% height of the parent. So in this case, since the height of the parent is 50%, so it'll 100% means it'll take the whole of 50. Okay, if I write here 50% children, then it will just take 25% of the parent. Okay, so that's how it works. If I give a background color, let's go with something like aqua. Okay, as you can see, it's taking this much space. Okay, so that's for the first box. Okay, and then since they all have this line, okay, let's just first work with the space and the lines. Okay, so it'll be easier to make the line first. So border right. Okay, 1px solid black. Okay. But since the black is touching, okay, we can make use of margin to keep the spacing. So margin, we can give top bottom as like 26 pixels, and then left right 0. If we do that, okay, now the lines are like, you know. Okay, this for the first part. We'll go to the second part, that is details. I think it's named details 1. Okay, details 1. Wait, let's give it a height of let's give it same 30%. Okay, height is 100% of the parent. I just give the border as well, border right. Okay, 1px solid black. Okay, and then let's see. Okay, it's going to, let's bring it to the next one. So in order to do that, we have to give the parent flex. So the parent is context. We'll give it display flex. Okay, so it comes to the next one. Okay, okay, let's not make it confusing, and let's work one by one. Okay, we'll make one box at a time. Okay, so for the first box, it's also let's just remove this color. Okay, so display flex, that way all the children will align horizontally. Okay, can remove this color as well for now. Then we can work on this. Okay, so the next thing we need is, if you can see here, there is a form, right? So we need to design a form. So how to design a form? So inside this, we can just make a simple form with the help of a form tag. So we can write a form, okay. Then we can just give it an ID contact form. Okay. Inside the form, we'll give a input type text. Okay. Let's call it text. We don't have the name for now. And then let's give the class name form1. Okay, and then placeholder, let's give a name or like your name. Okay, as you can see, it's coming like your name. Okay, let's just copy paste this thing. Okay, this time it will be type of the email, and then yeah, placeholder, just type email. Okay, and then the third part is submit. Okay, so we need to make a button. So this time it will be a input type will be submit. Okay, and then value can give submit. You can give a class button. Okay, so it comes like this. Okay, so let's do some styling to this session. So here for okay, we forgot to add this part, so we can let's do that quickly. Just before this form, we can make use of the. Let's go with h4 small. Okay, never mind. h4. Okay, so here from me. Okay, once you're done doing that, now let's do the styling for the form. Okay, so we give the form an ID contact form, right? We get the ID contact form. So with the help of this, we can the styling is on that. So it's an ID, so you use the hashtag. So type contact form, okay, and then we'll give it a display flex so that we can make use of the justify and align properties. We can get the flex direction we want it to be in the column, so it'll come this way. Okay, and then we use justify content center and also align items center. Okay, that way it will come to the center. Okay, this thing did not get affected because it's outside the contact this ID. Okay, so just take this and put it inside the ID. This way, even these things get affected. And then so here we brought them center. Now just give them some space. So for that, use padding. Okay, so gives like top and bottom 50 pixels and left and right 0 pixels. Okay, so you get some spacing. Now if you go in the input types, input tag, they like these 3 boxes you have. Okay, you have given the class form1, right? So with the help of that, we can add additional settings to it. So just type form1 dot form1. Okay, so in here first let's work with some spacing. So margin. Okay, let's from all direction, let's give it like 25 pixels. Okay, that's much better. Okay, we want to remove this border. Okay, we don't want this border everywhere, so we'll give it border and none. Okay, so now the border is gone. Okay, and then let's just give the border at the bottom. Okay, as you can see, it has a border at the bottom, right? So in order to do that, just go to code and then write border, and you can select bottom. Okay, you can go something like a 1 pixel solid black. Okay, I think we're using something thick. Okay, so let's go with some thickness. So let's go with 2 pixels. That's better. After that, we can also, let's give some spacing. Okay, let's add one more thing. We'll give a radius to the border. So border radius. Okay, 1 pixel, like 10%. 10% to mesh. Let's go with this. Let's just not give any border radius. It's fine. Okay, so let's give some padding. Let's go like 5 pixels. Okay, that's better. Then we have let's decrease or font weight. Let's go with 300. Just try 300. Just too thin. Yeah, font is better. Okay. Font size will be, let's go with 20 pixels. Oh, that's too big. 15 pixels. Wait, let's go 16. Better. Let's okay, if you can see, even these texts are at the center, right? So what we can do is we can use this property text center. Okay, wait. Text align. Yeah, text align center. Now you can see the text will come to the center. Okay, and then we can do is text decoration none. Okay, and then you can give the color black. Okay, so we're done with this thing. Now time to design this submit button. Okay, so for that, for the submit button we gave it a class button, right? So we can just okay, uh, okay, if you click, notice that when you click here you don't see this kind of border, right? Here you don't see any border, but if you click you see border, right? But here you don't see any border. So how to do that? So in order to do that, you need there's a property called, okay, so uh, you need to target the form ID, okay. So for the form, the ID is contact form, right? So inside this contact form, okay, or like when the contact form, okay, when the contact form, it's the input is focused, okay. That means focus, okay. What these lines means is that when someone clicks on it, okay, so like it's not focused, it's focused, it's not focused, it's focused, okay. So that's what it meant. So like when it's focused, there is this outline thing, right? So when I say when the input is focused, okay, so during that time I don't want there to be any outline. So when I say outline none, now you see there is no outliner, there is no box. So this is what uh, the focus means, okay. So we're done with this one. So let's design the button now. Okay, so we give the submit button, the class name is button. Okay, so if you do button and then yeah, uh, let's remove the border first. Okay, border none. The border is gone. Okay, let's give some margin. Okay, from the top. Let's go like 70 pixels, uh, 60 pixels, maybe 50 pixels. Okay, that's much better. And then we can give padding, okay. Okay, so padding, let's give like a left side, left give. So top bottom 50 pixels, left and right 12 pixels, okay. Okay, never mind. So 12 pixels, let's give separately, okay, 50 pixels, 12 pixels, and then 50 pixels. Okay. Okay, so what does, okay, when there is for value, okay, what it means is that you you have this clock, right? So it's like 12 p.m. or 12 a.m., 3 a.m., 6 p.m., and 9 p.m., right? So it's like that. When there is four values, okay, the first value means top, okay, the second value means right, the third value means bottom, and then the last value is left, okay. So like top, right, bottom, left, okay. So on the top it's 12 pixels, on the right 50 pixels, bottom 12 pixels, and on the left 50 pixels, okay. That's why it's equal. Okay, so this thing is done. Now we need to put a hover effect, okay. Before that, let's change the font, okay. It's a bit bold here, so let's do this as well. We get the padding. Now let's increase the font size, okay. Font size, let's increase to 14 pixels. Yeah, better. Let's also give it the font weight, okay, 600 for the, like, to make it look a bit bold, okay. And let's give a border radius, okay. So when I don't give border radius, you can see it's like very sharp and very pointed, okay. So if I give border radius, let's say 10 pixels, you can see it bends a little bit, right? Okay, 10 pixels is too much. Let's go with 5. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now we're done designing the button. Now time to, make the effect, okay. Okay, okay, let's make a special kind of effect, okay. So when I hover it, okay, so when I hover on the button, okay, so when I hover on the button, I want the, the border to be like 1 pixel. Okay, I want the border to be, let's go solid. Let's go with like green. Let's try. Okay, and then I want the background color to go black, and I want the color to be white. Okay, you can just remove this part. You don't really need this part. Okay, the main part is this though. Okay, so the hover effect is done. The first part is done. So let's move to the next part. Okay. Okay. So for the next part, we have this part, that is the details part. Okay, so we're gonna make use of this one. So inside the next part, we're gonna need so let's uncomment this. Okay, so for this part, okay, for our details part, we need to make the HTML structure first. So there is two section, the location and then the contact, the phone number. Okay. Okay, so what we can do is, let's make a div. Let's give it an ID. Let's call it location. Okay, and inside this, let's make another div. So we have ID location 1. The first part, we'll go with this one. Okay, so inside this, we'll give a class. Give the contact icon with the contact icon. Okay, and then we'll give this location. Let's type location. So you can just take any from here. Let me just take this one. You can paste it here. Okay. Next you need a text. So for that, just make another div outside this div. Give it the class, or you can just make it ID address. Okay. Give it h3 and then just type Ikshi village. Two. And after that, this is gonna be for the first part. Okay. Now let's make the second part, this one. So for that, outside this location 1, okay, so location 1 ends here. So outside this location 1, make another div called location 2. Okay, here you can make use of the same thing, or you can just, what you can do is just copy this whole thing and then paste it. Okay, and then here you can change the icon. So search for phone. Okay, you can take any icon. Let's go with this one. Okay, then just place the icon here. Okay, and then just add the number. So inside this, just type the number plus 91. Okay, so the numbers showing. Okay, so now for this part, let's do some stylings. Okay, so this is all the information that we need for this part. So let's do the styling for the other one as well. So okay, so we gave the ID location, right, to its parent. Yeah, we gave the ID location. Okay, so we'll select the location. Okay, and then we can give a width of say 30%. Okay, just the parent width. Then a height of 100%. Okay, and then we need to make the line first. Okay, so 1px solid. Okay, then margin will be 26, top and bottom, and left right 0. Okay, since we give the details of you know, width of 30%, we can give the location width of 30%. So details one is 70%. So inside this 70%, we can divide into different groups. Okay, so this is going to be the first one. We're going to add two more, so these two. So this is one single detail, and then the second detail, this detail holds these three. Okay, these three children's. Okay, let's do the styling for this one. So first thing the first class we have is contact icon. So we can just use the contact icon targeted class. Okay, since it's an icon tag, we can make use of the font tag. Okay, so then we can increase the size. Font property, so font size. Let's give 22px. Okay, and let's give a padding of 15px. Okay, can give the padding 15 pixels. Okay, and then that's it for the icons. Okay, icons, as you can see, they appear a bit larger now. Okay, the next class we have is address. Okay, this address class, or the ID address. I think it's better to give it class and not ID. Okay, so that we can target both of them at once. So just write. Okay, we can what we can do is we can target that class. So it's address. Okay, and we can give the font weight 400. Yeah, that's better. Okay, yeah, that'll do. My H3 inside of it. We need to target H3. Okay, now it's working. Okay. Next thing, what we can do is we can give some spacing between this the first location and the second location. Okay, so location 1 and location 2, we're gonna target both of them, and then we can give like a padding of 15 pixels from all sides. Okay, that's better. Yeah, that's better. Okay, I think we're done with this part as well, so we'll go to the next part. Let's remove this for now. So the next part will be the socials. Okay, this one. So let's make the structure for the social. So inside social, it's there is nothing much. There's just one text and then a couple of social media icons. Okay. So what we can do is so let's make the structure first. There is a okay. So let's say socials. Okay. Socials. Okay. And then the second part will be where all the icons are stored. So we can make another div. Just uh, name the ID is links. Okay. Then we have like 6 different links. 2, 3, 4, 6. Yeah, that's 6. So what do we have here? Facebook. Let's go here. Let's search Facebook. Can take this one. Okay, just paste it here. Second one is Instagram. Okay. Instagram, just copy, paste it here. Next one we have is Pinterest. Just type. Select this one, copy, and then paste it here. The next one we have is Telegram. Just copy this one, paste it here. Next we have is thread N. Okay, and that's a thread. The last one is WhatsApp. Yeah, just leave it like that. Okay, if you come back, okay. So now you need to adjust stylings. Okay. So for the structure, this is it for the structure. Okay. Now we need to do the styling. So the first parent class is socials. Okay. So we'll target the socials. So it's an ID, so socials. Okay. We'll give the width of let's go 30%. Height will be the parent height, so 100% of the parent height. We'll give the margin, margin will be similar for everyone. Margin. Okay, so top, bottom 26, left, right 0. Okay, and then we'll give the border right. Okay, we need a line. One pixels, solid, black. Okay. Okay, now if you're wondering why is it coming outside and not inside, then it is because we gave it not inside this div, but outside the div, so we have to bring it inside again. Just copy and just paste it inside this div. Okay. Okay, so now it's coming here. Now you can remove this one. Okay. And then you need to give the parent display flex. So just display flex. Okay, as you can see, it has come up here. Okay, so moving to the next one, we need to do remove the the underline, and then also we need to inherit the parents colors. Okay, so for that, before that, let's adjust the text. Okay, so the next thing we have inside socials is this one, the text history. Okay, so for that, so under the id text, where this text id, okay, inside this we have h3. So inside the text id there is a h3, and to that h3 I want its font weight to be 300, like lighter. I want it to be thin. Okay, and also I want the text to align center. Okay, and let me give some space on the top, like 30 pixels. Okay, and then for this part is done. So for the icons, there is this id called links, right? So we can target the links. Okay, and then we can give, if we give it display flex, then all the icons will, if we give display flex, then we can make use of the properties justify and align, right? Okay, now flex. Okay, if I do flex direction column, all this will come in the vertical manner. Okay, now justify content space between. Okay, so the left space. When I do align item center. Let's give some padding from the top, space on the top. Let's try 5 pixels. Get better. Can increase the font size. Okay, since it's an iTech, you can make use of the font. Okay, this is better. Now inside this, we work with a parent tag that is div, parent div with the id links. Okay, now inside these links we have two more tags. That is, one is the anchor tag, the a tag, and the other tag is called the I tag. Okay, so we can target those as well. Okay, so inside this links id there is an I tag and an a tag. Okay, so I want them to have a padding of like 10 pixels. That's too much space. 6 pixels. Wait, let's go with 7. Okay, better. And then if I do text decoration, okay, if I do text decoration done, the underline goes away, and then I want them to have inherit the colors from its parent divs. So I will do color inherit. Okay, so it goes to its former color. Okay, And when I hover over them, links. Okay. When I hover over them, I want the color. So now, as you can see, the color changing. Okay. So we did the social part as well. So the last thing left is this thing, and then we need to add the smooth scroll thing. Okay. So for this one, similar to how we did with all this, we just make a section. Okay. Just take this and go inside here. Okay. Just paste it here. So it just means that these details one has now has 3 children. Location will be the first one. The second is socials, this one, and then third will be rights. Okay. So inside here we just have to write to show this thing. So for that, just make use of p tag. You can for this symbol, there is a code in HTML. So just character set code, UTF code. Okay. So we can just use ampersand and just write copy. As you can see, you can it changes to this one, and we can make use of the span tag. Okay, we can give it the ID display here. Okay, and then we can set the target to say parent, and then let's just give you a class border bottom. You can write down your company name here. Okay, and then you can write the all. Okay, so now you can see okay, instead of here you can you can simply write even the year. Okay, it'll show up. Okay, as you can see, it'll show up. But if you do this, you have to write you have to change the date every time, every year. So in order to skip that part, what we can do is we can write a JavaScript for that. Okay, we'll just write a simple JavaScript. Okay, so okay, then like current year. Okay, so what we can do is we can make the function. Okay, so function. Let's just give it like current year. Okay, and then let's make a variable a. Inside JavaScript, there is a function called new date. Okay, and then we'll make another variable year where we'll just another function called get full year. Okay. Now we can do document query selector. Okay, so we are selecting this ID. Okay, since we're gonna write the year here, right? So we're selecting the ID, so it's hash display year. Okay, and then what we can do is dot inner HTML, and then while we're writing inner HTML is we want to change the HTML border. So that inner HTML is equal to year, which means this year. Okay, so what we're doing here is, we're making a variable a. Okay, or we can just name it as date. Okay, so we are storing the date here. Okay, and then here we're storing the date. So we're taking first the date, and then from that date we are trying to get the year. Okay, and then we're storing that in this year variable, and then later we're printing the year in place of this ID. Wherever this ID is stored, we'll change the HTML there, and then we'll write the year, current year. Okay, so after I do that, I just put a semicolon here. Okay, and then I call the function current year. Okay, so if I do that, even if, okay, now it's written here, right? But even if I remove this, okay, it's gonna stay there. Okay, as you can see. But if I don't call this function, so it goes away. But if I call the function, it comes back. Okay, so that's how you make use of JavaScript. Okay, so that if you do this, you don't have to change the date every year by yourself. Okay, when the time comes, it'll change automatically. Okay, so now we just have to bring it at the center. So for that, let's do the styling. Okay, we gave it the ID right. The parent ID is right. Okay, so we give the width of 40%. Okay, and height will be the parent height. Okay, similar, the same margin will be 26 top bottom and 0 left and right. Okay, and then the next thing we can do is in order to use the flex properties, we have to first make it display flex. Then we can do justify content center. Okay, align items center, so it will come to the center. Okay, and then all there is left to do is to put this animation effect, like hover effect. Okay, so for that, what we can do is inside this right text. Okay, under the right tag we have a p tag, and inside p tag we have a tag, right? So in that we want the no, we want there we don't want any kind of text decoration, that is the underline thing. Okay, we don't want there, so we'll just give it none, and then we'll just put the hover effect, so we can say on the right ID where there's a p tag, and inside the p tag there's a tag. Okay, so, and then when I hover on the a tag, okay, I want its color to change to white. This, and also I want the background color to be black. Okay, and I want to go bold when I hover it, so let's go 900. Okay, okay, something like that. Okay, so all that is done as well. So now we have to make this thing that back to top button. Okay, so let's build that. For that you can make anywhere you can make an ID. So when this is done, so you can close this contact. Okay, here just make a div. Okay, and actually you don't even need a div. We can just make a headache. Just give it the main section. Okay, just give it an ID of like back to top, and then give it a class space. Okay, and inside this you need the arrow button, right? So get the arrows. Let's use this one. Okay, now I have to design that. Okay, so let's go to style. Okay, the ID was back to top. Let's make this position to be fixed. Okay, because you want the option to be everywhere with us wherever we go in the website. So position will be fixed. Okay, and then we want it at the bottom. Okay, from bottom 20 pixels. Let's give background color is green. Okay, you can see the here. Okay, and then you can give padding. Let's give a space of 10 pixels. Okay, let's make it like 10 pixels. Yeah, 5 pixels. Okay, better. Okay, so change the opacity 0.5. Okay, and then whenever only when we hover over it, we want the opacity to go 100%. Okay, so we can make like a transition. We want all the transition to take this duration of 5 seconds, 0.5 seconds, and we want it to be in the effect of is and out. Okay, and then when I hover over it, I want the opacity to be 100%. So when I hover over it, I want it to be 100%, and then this slow animation is coming from this layer. So if I give it 1 second, then it will take even more time, as you can see. If I give it 5 seconds, it'll take like 5 seconds to load up. Okay, so 0.5 is better, it's quicker. Okay. Okay. Okay, now we want to give them links. Okay, so that when I click on them, if I click on about me, I want it to go to this section like this. If I click about me, I want it to go about me section. Okay, if I click on education, I want it to go here, and if I click profiles, I want it to go there. Okay, so in order to do that, it's very simple. Just you need to assign IDs. Okay, okay, so we just need to give IDs so that it will be easier to track. So let's say for this main section, it's already done because let's say you're here, and if you click on the arrow, it'll go to the main section. Okay, but let's say from here you want to go to about me section. Okay, so you need to here just give it ID. Okay, let's say about me lock. Okay, and then in the header section here you just give it okay. About me lock. Okay, for education, similarly write something here, say ID education lock. Okay, education lock. For this one, write the same. Okay, contact lock. Okay, now if I click, it's taking me to the section. Of course, it's not smooth, but it's at least working now. Okay. Okay, now for the final part, uh, we will try to add a smooth animation. Okay, so whenever I click, it goes smoothly, something like this. It goes with like the smoothness. Okay. Okay. So in order to do that, we're gonna make use of JavaScript. Okay. Okay. So how to do that? You can here you have added a class space, right? So similarly, here also you have added a class space. Okay. So with the help of this, we can write a small JavaScript function. Okay. So here, let's just call it smooth scrolling. Okay. So here we make a constant variable. Okay. So we name it like nav links. Okay. And then here we'll store the document query selector, and then here, okay, we write space. Okay, this means that we're selecting everything in HTML that has this class name space. Okay, for example, these things are space. Also, this the arrow has space. Okay, so we'll try to add smooth scroll to that. Okay, so we write this and then we save it in the variable nav links. Okay, so I say nav links. We'll run a loop. Okay, so we need to check right how many space, how many elements in the document has the class space, right? So we need to check each and everything. So link. Okay, and then we'll use this arrow. Link dot we add the add event listener. Okay, so here if the user clicks, okay, we pass the event. Where we want to we want to prevent this. When I click it, it directly, like, it's like directly teleporting, right? We want to prevent that. Okay, since that's the default loader. Okay, so we want to prevent that, so that's why we are writing whenever user clicks on any of the links, and whichever links has the class namespace. Okay, whenever user clicks on those links, we want it to prevent the default. Okay, so what this means is that prevent default means whenever the user clicks on any links, and then if that link has the class name is space, the jumping, when I click this, will be will not be included. Okay, this will be stopped. Okay, like we're trying to prevent this. Okay, so instead of this, we'll make another constant variable. Okay, so target ID means that uh, when I click on about, then about me, this one, when I click on about, then about me log is the target ID. When I click on education, education log is the target ID. When I click on profiles, profile log is target ID. Okay, so when I click on whichever link I clicked on, and then the target ID means that ID of that particular link. Okay, whatever ID has been stored on the link. So that you know get attribute. Okay, okay, so what this line means is that target ID is a variable. Okay, target ID is a variable. So this dot get attribute href dot slice one. Okay, so what does it means is that we're trying to like I said earlier, when I click on about me has the ID about me log. Okay, here you can see about me log. When I click on education, it has the ID, or like it has to go to href log, right? But then there is not just href log, but there is this hash at the beginning, right? So that's why what we're doing is slice one. It means that we're removing the first element, so it's like we're removing this hash. Okay, removing this hash, that's what it's meant by slice one. Okay, so we're slicing that hash and then we're storing. Okay, for example, I click on about me, then we're storing about me log. Okay, we're getting this whole thing. Okay, and then from that whole thing we're removing that hash, and then we're storing about me log in this target ID. Okay, after that target element. Okay, it's called the get element by ID, target ID. Okay. Okay, now what does this mean is that target element document the get element by target ID. Okay, what it means is that now that I have, for example, I clicked on about me. Okay, and about me has this about me log ID, right, with the hashtag. So in this line I remove that hash and I store that about me log in this target ID variable. Okay, so now that I'm passing here, what I'm passing here is that I'm passing target ID, right? But in target ID, we have stored about me log. Okay, this thing, right? We have stored this thing. So now about me logged is passed in here. So like get element by ID about me log is being targeted. Okay, so next thing what we do is we'll use a condition statement. Okay, if target meaning target element, so meaning if we get any element. Okay, so whenever someone clicked, we got the whole this whole thing. Okay, and then we remove this one hash. We just took this ID. Okay, and we pass the ID to this variable, and then if there is any variable inside it, okay, then we'll go to that element. Okay, target element dot scroll. Okay, scroll this something called function called scroll into view. Okay, and then we'll describe the behavior here. Okay, so we'll type behavior and then we'll give it smooth. Okay. Okay, now that we have created this, okay, now just make a function. Okay. Let's call it a function smooth. Okay, and then let's put this inside the function. Okay, and then let's just call the function. Okay, so smooth. Okay, now if I go to the website, okay, this website, if I just refresh, okay, and then if I click on about me, you can now see the smooth scrolling. Okay, back to top, profiles, all this thing. Okay. Okay. Okay, now that border is also gone. Okay, so yes, this is how you do it. Okay, you can just close this now. Okay, this is how you make the portfolio. Okay, now from your side, I want you guys to after you're done completing this, just try editing from your own. Okay, just try adding the links. Also try adding some more. Okay. Like try to add your own picture. You can try adding some more options here, and then you can try adding new sections. Okay, you can just try it. If you need help, just let us know. We'll help you guys out. Okay.